You know, everyone is sort of asking now and talking about the difference between naturals and synthetics. Like I brought a natural rose, like a rose absolute. It's worth its weight in gold, literally. It's very expensive. Rose actually is easy to extract in the sense that it gives it up with pretty much any method of extraction, steam distillation, solvent distillation. It takes a lot to get it, which is why it's so expensive. And then I brought a synthetic rose, which is fabulous, but obviously much less expensive, created by a perfumer in a lab. What you generally smell when you're out in the world and you smell like a rose. The natural is literally extracted from the petals, right? It's very intense. Whereas the perfumer, when creating something like this, can interpret the air, right? It can interpret, what does this smell like opened up? And that's where you get this openness of the rose, exactly like you're smelling a bouquet in the garden.
Does the synthetic use any of the...
Sometimes they do use a hint, but sometimes they don't. And that's what I think is so interesting. Do you ever...
Does this go bad?
This is an absolute, if you keep this in dark glass out of direct and intense sunlight, it will last, like literally they found essential oils in the tombs of the pharaohs that were still, they get richer and darker in color, but the oil is still, Cleopatra thought she was a goddess incarnate, right? She fully believed she wanted her people to believe she was a goddess, she was God on earth. And she was obsessed with rose, that was her fragrance. And so she wore it. She actually, in Egyptian times, it sounds totally disgusting, but this is actually true. They would take what's called enfleurage, which is how they extracted essential oils. It was animal tallow that they would lay petals onto. But in the dark, that's how they do it with jasmine. The oil would seep into the fat. And then in Egypt, they would actually take that and shape it into cones and wear it on their head. It was like a thing. It was like a fashion thing. And during the heat, it would actually melt during the day into their hair that they had plaited. And that was a sign of wealth. It was really like, it was very expensive, only the wealthy. And actually, up until the late 1800s, perfume was only reserved for the very wealthy. So Cleopatra loved this. And what she would do, and this is my favorite part, is that she would actually have her sails to her battleships soaked in rose water. Because when her army would go off to war, when the wind blew, they thought she was there, watching them. Like, think about, like, I just got the chills. I tell the story all the time, like, think about how manipulative that is, like how powerful that is. And I love that. I love that story.